To the United Stand, this is your latest Manchester United news, and it's your reaction to Ralf Rangnick's press conference, and also probably, well, it's Ronaldo, isn't it? I think Ronaldo probably leapfrogs Rangnick's press conference reaction, because we've got some comments from Cristiano Ronaldo that he's made about his future and how long he wants to play on and what he wants to do at Manchester United over the coming weeks and months. So we'll be talking about that, as well as Ralf Rangnick's press conference, which, in essence, one of the big lines he said, and we spoke about it this morning, is that there's no room for error now. Reality bites, and now or never, whatever. We can't make any more mistakes. Must-win game against Watford. The words from Ralf Rangnick, and he also spoke about what the issues were against Atletico Madrid and how they need to avoid those, and how March is a very defining month as well. So we'll get into that. We'll get into what Ronaldo had to say as well. But as you can probably see below me, I'm quite excited about this. I don't know whether anybody joined in on my Twitter space last night when I was talking to the legend John Motson. But as you may notice below, the show is sponsored by fans.com. Yes, guys, it's finally happened. We have an NFT sponsor, but this one is a cool one, trust me. So British football broadcasting legend John Motti, as I call him, not Motto, has partnered with fans.com to release his top 50 greatest games ever. Now, considering Motti has got George Best playing in 1966 for Manchester United in his top 50, it's an amazing range. So far, he's released 11 to 50, so he's not done his top yet. And there's some cracking games in there. I've got to agree that United's win over Chelsea is in there and included at number 14. As I said, 66 against Benfica, where George Best announced himself as a 19-year-old. That's in there as well. I've popped the link into the description, and as it stands in the description for you to look at. And actually, we are here. Which match do you think deserves to be considered the best of all time? So pop your selection in the chat and we'll have a run through. For me, as a United fan, the Champions League win was an unreal moment in 1999. And there's been loads and loads of Manchester United games, but it's such a cliche really for me. Anybody says, what's your best game you've ever watched, this, that and the other. I mean, it's so easy for a United fan to say that, but it really is 99. So get into their chat just before we move on. What's your best game that you recall that you've ever watched? And hopefully it'll be a Man United game. But let me just get rid of Boring Panda, because you're really boring. I don't want to read you out. And let's get rid of Salash as well. Okay, so has anybody got a game in there that they want us to just sort of give a shout out for? Moscow final, says Himanshu, 2008. Obviously that's in Motti's as well. Liverpool 4 Barcelona, says Lucas. Why have we got Lucas in there as well? 4-2 United, 2-4 United against Arsenal. Yeah, I remember that one. Barca versus PSG 6-1. And I love you, Mark, says Ishmael. Thank you very much. Roma versus Barcelona. Man United, Liverpool 2007, 99, says Devraj. So quite a selection there as well. It's a pretty cool project, and if any of you guys are interested in NFTs, each of these games are getting immortalised on that blockchain. For more information on this, head to the description to find out more, and let us know what your greatest game of all time is in the comments using hashtag Motti's Top 50. And if you want to keep up to date with the NFT release, then hit the link in the description and join the fans.com Discord. There is a fans.com Discord in there. Links in the video description where you can get more information and check out Motti's top 50 games of all time. And please do leave your chats below on what, not the live chat because they'll disappear, but in the comments below, what is your favourite match in Manchester United history, your fan history? Link in the description. Check out the Discord there. Right, let's move on. Let me just get rid of, there's some idiots in the chat today. We just need to move them on. Okay, let's get on with Ralf Rangnick's press conference reaction. I've got to say, I think it's the worst press conference we've ever had under Ralf Rangnick. I'm going to talk about Ronaldo's comments in a minute, but I think that Ralf Rangnick's press conference today was absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. I thought it was dreadful. And not because of him. Because yet again, we've wandered back into lazy journalism, in my opinion. And look, I call out lazy footballers, so why can't we call out lazy journalism? It's almost as if, I mean, Pap said it as well, boring presser. I said this morning, if you're in that press conference and you're a journalist, please do your bloody homework. What questions did he get asked that were relevant there? If we didn't have Ronaldo's comments to talk about, we'd be struggling. How's about Rashford's underperformance? That's a big question. Massive question. How's about what we're doing sat next to Paul Mitchell yesterday? United are looking for a director of football. He's one of the best director of footballs in the game. What about as being linked to Akanji or Rudiger? Both clearly recommendations from Ralf Rangnick. Is he involved in recommending players for the summer? And look, people might say that's not a relevant question. It very much is. We don't know who the manager is in the summer, and we know that clubs start planning their transfer business in February, March for the summer. Are you involved in that process? There's 3 banging questions there. 3 really good questions. You know what we got? Do you know Roy Hodgson? Have you met him before? What's he like? What do you think about Roy Hodgson's last 2 games for Watford? Obviously, there was a couple of questions about the Ukraine, which you can understand. It's a very scary situation for everybody. But, you know, is March defining? Well, every game's defining now because there's no room for error. I just think, just please take the time to do your homework on Manchester United. Some of these people asking questions are not United fans. That's the problem. And they don't feel what we feel. So they don't ask our manager the questions we need to ask. It's disappointing. I actually thought Andy Mitten's question was quite good. He said, are you any clearer to Madrid as to what went wrong? And Rangnick said, look, Matic came on and changed the game as well as did Elanga. But in the first half, we were too cautious and we were too static. We've given ourselves a good chance to go through in the next round, but the first half wasn't good enough. I would like to know what your opinion is on why were we so cautious and why were we so static in the first half? Who were the players that you felt made us Matic wasn't on the pitch. Static and cautious. Who do you think those players were? For me, look, I think in Europe, I remember when we played Young Boys and we lost back in, was it September? We couldn't play through their midfield and it was Young Boys away from home. I think in Europe this season we've struggled away from home to play through teams, and I think we struggled against Atletico Madrid. And as I said, Simeone set up with this triangle defence where you've got the flat defence and then the triangle up to your forwards, and you're basically funneling down here and stopping United going through the middle. And I think we couldn't go through the middle, and I think we were scared, and I think we got static, and I think we were cautious, like Rangnick said. To be fair to Varane and Maguire, they didn't hit loads of long balls, which is what Lindelof and Maguire did, I think, against Young Boys. But I think Pogba and Bruno were very poor in the first half. They didn't, they couldn't control the ball, let alone pass it. Fred, obviously, is not really a dictator of the play. So, I think you've got to look at the midfield in that situation. I certainly don't think Ronaldo can make us less cautious and static, and I certainly don't think you can actually level that at Rashford and Sancho either. So I think in that situation you've got to look at your full-backs, which were Lindelof and Shaw, and you've got to look at your midfield and maybe your centre-backs, because they're the players that will dictate the play. So Rangnick's right, we were static and we were cautious in that first half, but he said, we've got a good chance of getting through to the next round, but we've got to focus on Watford. And to me, this was the best bit of Rangnick's thing, really. He said that, we need to win tomorrow. There's no other result. We need to win tomorrow. We've got big teams coming up after tomorrow. We've got to get the momentum back, and we must win tomorrow. And it's a very simple line. It's a warning. We cannot afford to slip up again. And a slip up for me is not losing to Manchester City or Liverpool away, or even at the Emirates. Or Chelsea. Those games we're going to have to try and get something out of, but we can't afford a headline slip up again. We can't afford a Watford or a Leicester or a Wolves or a draw to Burnley. We cannot afford that. We've got, how many points have we got at the moment? We've got like 46 or something like that. I think we've got 46 points. So we've got Watford at home, we've got Norwich at home, we've got Brentford at home to come. We've got to take those 9 points, get to 55 points, and then we've got to find, I believe, if we get 67 points, I think we'll get fourth. And then we've got to find another 12 points somewhere. So we cannot afford another headline slip up. And Rangnick's absolutely spot on with that. I was asked about Hodgson. He said, in his first 2 games, he played a 4-4-2. We've got to be careful about them. They've got a fast and physical, direct front 3. And we must be stable at the back. So be interesting to see how many how he lines up with the defence tomorrow. Obviously, I did the preview yesterday afternoon. Mark Wilkins, thank you very much for the super chat. Yeah, I'd be very interested to see how he lines it up tomorrow. I think it should be Varane and Maguire, but if my theory's right about, I doubt we'd play a back five, Ash, at home to Watford. I mean, it would probably work, but I wouldn't play a back five at home. Only in very, very severe circumstances against a team that was absolutely, on fire and one of the best teams in the world. We don't need to play a back five against Watford, but I think Varane's got to play, and therefore I think it will be Maguire, so it'll be Lindelof on the bench. But he did sub Lindelof quite early on Wednesday night, and I still think Lindelof was man of the match. So Lindelof would be unlucky not to start. But Cavani is out. I don't know. I hadn't heard that one. I hadn't heard about Cavani. I mean, again, I've got to say again, normally Simon Peach wasn't in the interview as one of the interviewers today, and normally he asks straight away, what do you think about the injury situation? And he wasn't asked in that press conference. I didn't hear it. So, and McTominay out as well. McTominay and Cavani are out. Scott McTominay is not available to face Watford. He's still ill. And Cavani is still out as well. So that's significant, because basically off the preview yesterday, I felt that was that's come from MUTV. That's not. He's not even been asked about that, people. He's not even been asked about injuries in the bloody press conference. Where is people's head at? I think we need to just let these journalists off and think that they're probably thinking about what's going on in Ukraine, which is completely understandable. But come on, there should have been a question about injuries, and that's the thing. I want to talk about that for a moment. Then, I mean, Cavani missing another game. What did I say when we got Cavani? Injury prone. We shouldn't have done it. I think at this point now, he probably justified getting him the first season, but second season, I think he's just been a waste of money. I really do. I think he's a waste of money, and it's ridiculous the amount of games he's missing now. These are key games in the season. I mean, who plays up front if Ronaldo has a problem? We haven't got a striker at the moment, and Cavani, just injury prone, isn't he? I don't want to say anything more than that, but he's injury prone. And then McTominay missing the game tomorrow, I think is significant. I don't think many of us thought we would say this, but I think it is significant, and I wonder if Matic comes into that team now, because Matic played very well against Atletico Madrid in the last 20 minutes, and he did change the game, and Rangnick said that in his press conference. So to me, I think it's really interesting tomorrow now, because if Matic doesn't start, then clearly, as we've suspected for a long time, he can't play 90 minutes anymore, because he should walk into that team. He's the best CDM we've got available. He's definitely better than Fred. So Matic should start in the absence of McTominay. McTominay will not play, apparently. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he did. I'm sure McTominay would play half fit for United, but apparently he's not fit to play tomorrow, which obviously he'll be back for the derby. It's a week after, but yeah, McTominay. I suppose it. You'll get some people going, oh, how the tables have turned. You're saying that we'll miss McTominay tomorrow, but I don't think it's I think that's just a headline line. Oh, Goldbridge says we're going to miss McTominay. What a hypocrite. Well, we are going to miss McTominay, but it's not because I think McTominay's very good at CDM. It's because we didn't buy a CDM. We haven't got a CDM. So of course we're going to, if you're asking me, would I rather play McTominay and Matic? I'd rather play Matic, but he can't play 90 minutes, so I'd rather play McTominay. Would I rather play Fred or McTominay? I'd rather play McTominay because he can control the ball better. So, beggars can't be choosers. McTominay is the best option we've got, but he's nowhere near the best option available. We should have bought one. So I don't think it's a surprise that many of us are going, we'll miss McTominay tomorrow. It's not because he's good in the role. It's because he's the best we've got in the role, because we didn't bother buying anybody in the role. So that's the justification as to why we miss him, and we will miss him. No English journalist will ask an unfavourable question about Rashford. It's a bad career move, says Ricardo. I wish we had 28 years old Matic. Shamanchu says, yes, I would. What changes would you make tomorrow then, says Lewis, based on that? So I think the team I went with was McTominay, Bruno and Pogba. So I'd still play McTominay, Bruno, and I wouldn't play McTominay. I'd still play Bruno and Pogba because we're at home. I'd play Belanga, Sancho and Ronaldo front three, and I would play Matic for an hour and then bring Fred on for the last half an hour, because hopefully in that first hour You get 2, maybe 3-0 up. You bring Fred on. That's what I would do. So yeah, I would bring in Matic for an hour. If you can do 70 minutes, great, and then use Fred off the bench if you need to, because I don't think Matic can play 90 minutes. So that's what I would do in that situation. And look, I'm confident we'll win tomorrow. I am confident we'll win tomorrow, because we have to win tomorrow, and that's Rangnick's words. We have to win tomorrow. I'm confident we will win. I think, United are a yo-yo, aren't they? We go up, we go down, and Atletico Madrid actually was a good result. I said it after the game. The result was good. The performance was pants, but the result was good. Tomorrow we need another win. And the funny thing is, if we win tomorrow, that's 3 Premier League wins in a row. And there'll be many United player tweets and posts on Instagram, and Man United posts and tweets on Instagram telling you that that's 9 points from 9. And momentum was something that Rangnick mentioned. Rangnick is very big on momentum, and 3 wins in a row. You've got to try. Rangnick's got to try every single angle he can to get those players playing better. He will have been very disappointed by that first half in Madrid, following a very good performance against Leeds, and you're confused. You're absolutely confused. It must be so frustrating. So he's got to try and find different ways to get these players motivated and consistent. And 3 wins from 3 going into the Etihad. I mean, I don't think we're going to win at the Etihad, but I think we it's a Manchester derby. We could win. We certainly could go there and get a point. What keeps you from getting a press badge and asking questions, says Mike? The club hate me, probably. Do you still think there is something up with Varane, says Geordie38? There's 2 good questions there. Do I think there's something up with Varane? I don't know. I think he might be carrying an injury. It's only a theory. I think Varane might be carrying an injury, a longer term injury. Whether it's a knee or an ankle or something. I just think we'll see if he plays tomorrow. If he plays tomorrow, then maybe I'm wrong. I just think there might be something. He might be carrying something. I'd actually give Bruno a rest and play Pogba as the 10, McFred in the midfield. Bruno rarely gets a rest, and I think it's starting to show, says Bradley. Remember, they've got a week. They've got 8 days off after this game, though, Bradley. We're not playing our next game until a week on Sunday, which is Man City. So although it's a week, it's 8 days. There you go, Liam. Thank you very much for the super chat. So would up. So that was a good question from Mike. I don't like to avoid questions that sort of make me have to get off the fence. What keeps you from getting a press badge and asking questions? I don't think I would ever get given a press badge anyway, full stop. If I ever could get one, would I get one? Yes. But I don't think they want that sort of person in the press conference. And what I mean by that is that, I would ask a direct question. I don't see the point in being there if you're not. I don't see the point in anything really if it's scripted. I don't. We live in a real world. I mean, I look at the world I grew up in, and you were spoon-fed everything. Match of the Day, Sky, magazines, newspapers. Everything you read was spoon-fed to you by that journalist, by that presenter, by that pundit. You had no say. It was literally, you had to listen to it. And the only say you had was in the pub or at school or whatever like that. Nowadays, social media, things like this, we can have our say. We can have a conversation. And, if I was in a press conference or speaking to a player, I wouldn't be like, oh, what's your toughest opponent you've ever played against? What's your favourite goal you scored? I'd be like, or with Rangnick, do you like Roy Hodgson? How do you like your tea, Ralph? Do you have 2 teas in it, or do you have 2 sugars or no sugar? Do you have milk? What milk do you have? Do you have oat milk or do you have almond milk? Do you like almond milk, Ralph? I'd be like, the 3 questions for me today, and it would change every press conference, would be, look, Ralph, Mr. Rangnick, you've, with Manchester United, been heavily linked with the Kanji in the last 24 hours, Rudiger, both German links, both players that I think that you've mentioned in the past that you like. Not going to put you on the spot about whether we're after those players, but it's February, we're heading into March. This is when clubs are looking at their summer signings. There's no manager for Man United in the summer at the moment. You've got you meant to have a consultancy role. Are you involved in the process of looking at players for the summer? Very good question. Very good question. And that's Rangnick saying that, because he would say that, because he'd say, what he would say is, we'll talk about that in the summer, but I would come back and say, yeah, but clubs are looking at players for the summer now. Are you involved in that process, or is it somebody else? And put him on the spot, see what he says. Paul Mitchell was sat next to you last night. He's one of the most, respected director of football's technical directors in European football. Worked at Leipzig. What was he doing? Is it? Oh, he was sat next to me because he's visiting family. Great. Any chance he's going to get the job that United are looking for, a new technical director? Ask the question. Marcus Rashford's not performing very well at the moment. Fantastic player, fantastic talent. Everybody wants him to, get back on form. Why do you think he struggled this season, Ralph? Open question. Why? Not, do you think he'll get back to his best? Of course I do. Why do you think he struggled this season? These are the sort of questions I would ask, but they don't get asked. They don't get asked. And I don't think they get asked because these people who get in the press conference aren't very good. I just don't think they think about it. I don't think they do their research. I think they probably are too busy playing Wordle. And then 5 minutes before, they're like, shit, I need a question. What shall I ask? Oh, Roy Hodgson. Oh, I wonder if he gets on with Roy Hodgson. But, yeah. Mark wants to run everything, says Aswan. But, look, I just think we're you know what? I'm tetchy. Probably irritable. Because I am genuinely, I might be in the minority here, but I'm genuinely worried about Manchester United's future. And as a United fan, we've seen such riches in the past. I'm so lucky from following United from the late 80s all the way through to now. I'm so lucky, to have seen what I've seen. But that doesn't mean I have to accept the shit now. I'm not one of those people. I don't just go, well, I live in a tent now, but I used to live in a mansion, so at least I used to live in a mansion. I'd want to know why I live in a tent. I want to know why I'm living in a tent. This is not fair play. This is not like, well, you've had 10 years in a mansion, now you're living in a tent. There's got to be a reason I'm in a tent, and how do I get back in the mansion? And that, I don't believe in cycles in football, because this is self-inflicted. We should not be in this position, and I'm worried about where we're heading as a club. And that's why I want some accountability. I don't necessarily want people to be sacked or kicked out the club. I want people to be held accountable and kicked up the arse so they do better. I don't want Darren Fletcher to get sacked, or John Murtagh to get sacked, or Harry Maguire to get sacked. I don't want them to get sacked. I'm not even saying sell them. I just want some accountability. I want them to get a kick up the arse. I want them to do better. And then when you're doing your very best, if you're not good enough, then you can go. But I just don't feel everybody's doing their best. We should sign Hag, Poch on contract before Spurs get them, says Dominic. Yeah, Spurs could be back in the race again. How far do you see Elanga going at Manchester United, says Nathan? Look, I love the song. Rangnick was asked about the song. Rhythm is a dancer. But origins in Germany. But you know what? I've been down this road many times before, and I said this yesterday. 2 weeks ago, Elanga was getting absolute pelters. Some of you were doing it. 2 weeks later, he's the next big thing. Honestly, what do I think about Elanga? I don't know. I haven't actually seen enough of him yet to go, oh my God, he's the next Ryan Giggs or anything like that. He doesn't excite me the way, and we're talking about footballing terms here. I felt Greenwood was generational. That's all I'm going to say, because obviously there's a criminal investigation going on there, and I couldn't give shit how generational he is. If he's done what he's accused of doing, he can do one. I don't want to see him playing for United ever again. But with Elanga, I don't know. What I like about Elanga is, and I said this at the end of last season, he's got this habit of scoring goals, and that's very important. But he's very raw. He might be the next Danny Welbeck. He might be the next David Beckham. I'm not saying he plays like Danny Welbeck or David Beckham, but he could go on to be one of Sweden's best players ever. He could end up playing for Brighton and being a bit of a journeyman. But what's most important is that he's a young player with a talent, of which we've had many over the years. We've had young players with talent who don't make it, and we've had young players with talent who end up being okay, and we've had young players with talent who end up being brilliant. I don't know where Elanga's going to end up, but we can't have this situation where he has one bad game, he's a load of shit. He has one good game, he's the next best thing. He just needs to be nurtured. He's got the right environment. He clearly listens to Ronaldo. Interesting comments from Sancho coming out saying that he's in awe of Ronaldo and he's learnt from Ronaldo as well. So, I just think with Elanga and with any young player coming through, patience. Though it's a long shot, I think you would be the right person to break the mould, says Mike. Thank you very much, Mike. And welcome to the Members Club, Armchair Pilots. So let's talk about Ronaldo's comments, because very interesting what Jadon Sancho has been saying about Cristiano Ronaldo as well. I think it was an interview with BBC. He came out and basically said that, he saw Cristiano Ronaldo in the dressing room, and it was amazing. Here's his quotes. "To have Ronaldo around is fantastic." This is from Sancho. "He's a great player and a great guy. He always wants to win, and for younger players, he's always helping us learn new things, telling us what to do and how to do things to make things better." Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Ronaldo's the problem. Ronaldo's the problem. He's arrogant. He runs straight down the tunnel. He doesn't want to help the young players. He's arrogant. He's up his own arse. It's just about Ronaldo with Ronaldo. He is the problem. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, Ronaldo's not the problem, but oh. To have Ronaldo around's fantastic. He's a great player and a great guy. He always wants to win, and for younger players, he's always helping us learn new things, telling us what to do and how to make things better. From Jadon Sancho about Cristiano Ronaldo. But he's the problem. It's great to play next to someone who people call the GOAT, so it's actually crazy. When he first came into the dressing room, I was kind of stunned. I couldn't believe what I was going to play alongside him. And just being aware of what's going on, because he's been in the game for so long and he has that experience of how to beat players and to know where to be at the right time, like when a ball is being delivered and things like that. The movement on how to beat a player to be in the right positions when the midfield have the ball and things like that. So Sancho singing the praises of Cristiano. We've then had a separate interview with Cristiano, by the way. He's been speaking to DAZN. Elanga reminds me of Januzaj potential, says Ben. Thank you very much. I just love it, because I know it winds people up who don't like Ronaldo, that they think he walks into training and Sancho's there with an autograph. "Get out of my way. I'm in the showers first." It's just a load of crap. A load of crap. But anyway, some direct quotes from Ronaldo himself. He said that it's hard to say that I don't want more, because I'm at a club that gives me the opportunity to win more things, so why not? I know I don't have many years left playing, 4 or maybe 5, we'll see, and I want to win more things. I've got to have the right balance to continue competing and be at the highest level. That's not easy, but it seems like it to me, because I show year after year that the numbers speak for themselves. And you have to be intelligent and know that at 18, 20 or 25 you're not the same as at 35, and that is the maturity, the experience, the intelligence to understand that maybe you lose some things to win other things. And I'm very happy with my form. I'm still scoring goals. I'm helping people both in the national team and at Manchester United, and that's why I want to continue like this. So I mean, look, very intelligent from Ronaldo. It's like what Sancho says. He's played the game so much, he can teach you so much about where to be at the right time and everything like that. But, Ronaldo also as well, very intelligent in his interviews. He's probably done more interviews than anybody, hasn't he, in football? And he's absolutely spot on. He's not the same as he was at 25 or 20. And many of you will be old enough like me to remember what Ronaldo was like at that age. He was very different. He was explosively fast. He ran at players. I mean, I feel sorry for those United fans, the younger fans, who didn't see Ronaldo the first time round, because, I mean, he broke a goal-scoring record playing off the wing, and he played off the wing. Salah's done fantastically well from the wing as well, to be fair, but Ronaldo was the first to really do it, and so direct, ran at players, skills. He hasn't got that anymore, and that's what he's talking about. What Ronaldo was at 21 to what Ronaldo is at 36, very, very different. And what Ronaldo has done is that, for me, he was one of the greatest wingers we've ever seen in the game. He's now one of the greatest strikers we've ever seen in the game, and completely different. He doesn't run at players like he used to, and his positional sense in the box, which is such a shame that we don't put good quality balls into the box, is second to none, really. He's up there with Lewandowski at the moment. He's one of those absolute elite strikers. It's interesting that he says that he wants to play for 4 or 5 years. You've got to say maybe 1 more year in the Prem, if we can get 1 more year. And this is why, for me, it's so important that we get 4th place. I saw that goal for Arsenal last night from lack of threat. Bloody own goal it was. And it hurts, because I was like, God, every win Arsenal get like that is a real thorn in our side. I mean, they are favourites for top 4. I genuinely believe that Ronaldo could well leave this club if we're in the Europa League. I just don't see him playing Thursday night football. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll go, look, I'm 37, I'm on really good money, no one's going to pay me this money, I still want to play at the highest level and no one's going to let me do that. So maybe he would do that. But there's a big risk that we lose Ronaldo if we end up outside the top 4. And at the moment, it's not even in our hands. Top 4 is not in our hands, it's in Arsenal's hands. We could win every single game and still not get top 4. So it worries me a little bit, but I think Ronaldo has got another year in the Premier League, definitely, and then I think he'd probably go maybe Sporting Lisbon or maybe go America. I certainly don't think he's talking about playing 4 more years in the Prem. But I don't think we've got the best out of Ronaldo this year, and I don't think we've got the best out of Ronaldo in relation to, I'm not looking at him and saying, Cristiano, we have not got the best out of you, you could have done more. I'm looking at the rest of the team, I'm looking at the coaches, I'm looking at the managers and going, how have we not got the best out of that? Because I think Ronaldo could be Lewandowski, he could be Harry Kane, and he'd be having the same season. They'd have the same season. We have not got the best out of a number 9. We've not got the best out of Cavani. We've not got the best out of Martial. We've not played for our number 9. And it's such a contradiction that United have spent 200 and something thousand pounds a week on Cavani, £500,000 a week on Ronaldo. So we're probably paying about £700,000 a week for 2 elite number 9s, and then we've got nobody who can provide them with the service in the box. And again, it's like the goalkeeping situation. We pay David De Gea £350,000 a week, and we're paying Dean Henderson £140,000 a week. So we're paying £500,000 on goalkeepers when we can only pick one. And we're paying £700,000 a week on strikers that we don't even provide any service for. So I feel sad about Ronaldo a little bit this year. I think he's right. I think he has delivered. We're in the Champions League because of him. But we could have got so much more out of him if we'd only had a team that could put crosses in the box. Not sloppy. Poochie's uncle. Okay, I wonder what you're talking about here. So these were the 5 questions that Rangnick was asked. 1 about Ukraine. 2, how important is pressure on 4th? 3, Ukraine. 4, will March be defining month? 5, aware rhythm is a dancer German. Yeah, they weren't great questions, Poochie. The Ukraine ones, I understand it. If anybody's interested in that, obviously Rangnick was in Russia, working there before we got him. But look, he's a football manager. What's your opinion on the Ukraine situation? What's mine? Our opinion is invalid in the sense that we can't really do anything about it. It's massively scary. It's massively confusing, and we all hope that there is some sense. It's almost like I was looking at the BBC website today, and I'm like, it's like a game of bloody Call of Duty, but it's real life. This airport's been taken, and 200 special forces Ukrainian soldiers have been killed. I mean, it's all reports, but it's like, how have we got to this state? How have we got to all this state? And what can Ralph Rangnick say other than that? It's a sad situation. Mark, would you sell Maguire in the summer? Says Jay Ling's fan. No, I wouldn't. I don't know why I wouldn't. I mean, look, actually, what you offering? What you offering me? What you offering? Right? Who's buying him, and how much are they offering? If somebody came in and said there's 50 million, I'd do it. I know it's a 30 million loss, but we're never going to get that level of money back again. You just got to take the hit. But what am I going to sell him for? Like, who's going to buy him? If I can get 50 million, I'd do it. But that's not because I think he's a load of crap. That's just because I don't think he'd ever be part of the team that I want to build. He'd be a bench player. You can't have an £80 million bench player. He's not going to be happy with that. And he's not going to be happy being a benched £80 million former captain of the club. He's not going to be happy. And look, I actually sympathise with Maguire's situation there. There is a player's career here as well as what's best for the club. I don't see Maguire going anywhere, and I think whatever team United build, he's going to have to be part of it. Not because it's the right thing to do, it's because it's the thing we have to do. So we need a manager that wants to get the best out of Harry Maguire, because we can't sell him, and you can't drop him because he's a big influence. He's the captain of the club. You know, you can't have a captain of the club who's doing team meetings, organising nights out and speaking with the board, and then next season everyone's ignoring him. You're not going to be happy, is he? So, but that's not the player's fault. That's the board's fault. Somebody said it the other day, and they're absolutely spot on. The bad signings we've made over the last 5 years are going to hurt us over the next 5 years. Because some of these players aren't going anywhere. But they've established themselves as first teamers with an important part in the team. So we're sort of stuck with them. These clear outs that people talk about, they belong on a game of FIFA 22. They belong on a game of Football Manager. You can't just sell 7 players. Mark, we desperately need Ronnie to stay no matter where we finish. United need all help we can get in the next few years. Andy and Bruno, I don't know what people think about it, but I'm desperate for Ronaldo to stay. I know we've had disruption this year. I do believe that the Solskjaer reign probably ended quicker than it would have done because of Ronaldo. I think that whatever the unrest in the dressing room is, Ronaldo would have a part to play in that. But I've always said this, when Ronaldo came in, it was about standards. It was like putting one of you in the dressing room. If you're one of those fans who are frustrated with where United have fallen to, frustrated with where we're heading, demanding better. It was always going to be the case with Ronaldo that you were dropping in one of those frustrated fans into the dressing room, and lo and behold, it created a bit of upheaval, which is what has to happen. You've got to crack a few eggs to make an omelette, and Ronaldo's done that. And the worst thing that can happen is that he comes in for a year, there's a bit of upheaval, which means we start to change things, then he leaves and everything goes back to normal because it's easy. I desperately want him to stay. Julian said, did Maguire's brother really reply to your tweet? Yes, he did, and he deleted it. Yep. He called me a cunt. But he might be right. I've been called a lot worse. Rudiger to United. I spoke about him this morning. Hi Mark, what's up with Conte? Mixed messages and contradictions. Should we get him when he quits? Says Nadil. Manchester United will never go for Conte. I'd like Conte at Manchester United. Personally, I'd like him because he's the definition of a reset. But United would never go for him. The tweet was deleted, George. So basically, when Atletico Madrid scored on Wednesday night, I tweeted Maguire again, ... I didn't say anything other than that. I just put Maguire again, ... And I'm pretty sure if we ran a poll, who was at fault for that goal? Well, he was marking João Felix and he let him go, and it was a cross in the air. So he replied to that with the term I just said, and then it got deleted. And he should have kept it up, because there's a lot of people who don't like me who would have just loved it. So he should have kept it up. We need to get rid of Ronaldo, says Whopper. Whatever. I should have replied, really, when he said it. I said, oh, that's a shame. Any chance you could sort me out with a signed shirt? And then he might have gone, oh, okay then. And then I've gone, great. Can you get Harry to get me a Ronaldo shirt? And then it would have gone off again, wouldn't it? I was thinking about this. He shouldn't have deleted it, but there you go. TUFFC is on today. Kieran, yep, 3 o'clock. Looking forward to be back playing a bit of TUSFC. Those players don't call me a CUNT. Probably because they're not real. But yeah. Look, we've got to win tomorrow, and I think that we are. I mean, is it exciting? That was what I was going to say. I know I mentioned this a couple of days ago, but are you excited by this top 4 race? And I said it before the Arsenal win. This is not excitement. This is fear. Excitement is the Champions League, because it's like, wow, we're in the Champions League. This is the best cup tournament in the world, and we've got no chance of winning it. But you know what? We're in it, and it's exciting. The champions, the race for 4th is not fucking exciting. I'm sure Arsenal fans are excited because they're like, we had no chance of 4th, and if we can get 4th, it's going to be a great season. For me, as a United fan, this is not an exciting race for 4th. I'm engrossed in it. I'm looking at their games, I'm looking at our games, and I'm thinking, bloody hell, if they lose here and we win here, you know. But it's not excitement, it's pure fear. Because there is no way we should have opened the door to top 4. Everybody said it in August. United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City. It's going to be the most boring top 4 race ever because it's locked off before a ball gets kicked. And it should have been. But Ollie left the door open, didn't he? And now we're in this bloody race. So I'm not excited by this race for top 4. I'm scared of it. Because, and if we get 4th, I almost feel like if we get 4th, I won't celebrate. I'll just go, well, I tell you what, you're lucky. You're bloody lucky that we got that. Now get on holiday and come back next year and do better. Bloody lucky. Don't you dare put Instagram posts out about we did it. We're bloody lucky. And then I'll be relief and go for a pint. If we don't get it, I'm going to kick a chair, I think. I think Maguire's was completing your sentence, says Sarvish. And I really hope Real Madrid hire Poch because I don't want him at United, Paul Lucas. I'm going to talk about Pochettino tonight because I'm making a couple of calls this afternoon. I know there was a story this morning that Poch doesn't want to come to United because he wants the Real Madrid job. I personally don't think that's true, but I'm going to speak to somebody. Paul Stafford, we're not kicking cats. No, none of that. We're not that. We don't do that. We don't know what the Paul Mitchell story is, Armesh, because no journalist thought it would be a good idea. United 2 weeks ago said they're looking for another technical director. Ralf Rangnick sat next to one of the best technical directors in Europe last night, and no journalist thought, you did, it was all over bloody Twitter last night, but no journalist thought to say about Paul Mitchell. I mean, it might come out in the embargoed section, but, you know, we got the crap section today. Right, thanks everybody for watching. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. And I'll be back 8 o'clock tonight. But I'll also be back at 3 o'clock on Twitch. TUSFC, Goldbridge TV on Twitch. Also, don't forget to check the link in the description. Motti's Top 50, using Motti's Top 50. The link's in there for the Discord chat to check out fans as well. And also get in the comments if you're not watching live with your favourite Manchester United match memory. Favourite match, not memory, because you might say, oh, I loved it when Van Gaal fell over. No, what's your favourite Manchester United match? Get in the comments. You might get a few likes on it. We'll see who came out on the top. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll speak to you all in a bit. See you on Twitch in about 45 minutes.